This is the last video of my 4-part series discussing my overall skincare routine. This video will touch on my indulgent routines, essentially what I do on my rest day when I'm feeling a little bit more bougie, I guess. So, just to quickly recap, video 1 went over my exfoliating routine, video 2 was how I integrate my retinoid, and video 3 was my morning peptide routine. I will link the other videos down below if you want to watch them in sequence. Just to begin with a little bit of housekeeping, or like updates really. When I first started posting this series of videos, I planned them, this is going back a few months now, it's just I've been very slow in getting around to filming them completely. And in the time that I sort of planned out what I was filming versus what my skincare routine has actually become, it's already changed a little bit. So that's why I've always been hesitant to film these types of videos, because my routine is constantly in flux. It hasn't changed so dramatically where everything I've said so far, it's still relevant, but the main thing that I've added is azelaic acid is now back in my routine. It doesn't feature in this 4-part video series because, as I said, when I planned this, I wasn't using azelaic at that time, but now I'm able to slot it in usually AM and PM on my rest days. So I don't use it when I am using a retinoid and I don't use it when I'm exfoliating, but in the routine video that I'm showing you today, I'd normally slot in azelaic acid now. And the main reason that's changed is because Regimen Lab actually brought out more of a watery texture. It's called, I think, Azelaic Advanced, which has ended up working out really well for me, and I find it really quite effective. The results that I'm getting from it are very similar to Phoenicia. And so the fact that this product is so watery, I'm actually now able to layer and integrate it really easily. Whereas with other azelaic products before, they were just too commanding, so I gave up. So yeah, Azelaic Advanced won't appear in this video or any of the others that I've filmed prior to this, but it is a product that I've started integrating and I have now been using it for it'll probably be 5 or 6 weeks. And the last little update to my routine is that at the start of this process, I was using Lotion P50 quite regularly. At a minimum, it was every second day, but sometimes even every day. Because azelaic acid is back in my routine, I've been able to reduce my need for exfoliation. So now I'm only using Lotion P50 1 to 2 times a week. I still maintain my exfoliating routine the way that I described in video 1. It's just less of P50 and I'm using more gentler acids. So something like the Murad Glycolic, the Dermwell Serum. I've enjoyed integrating salicylic acid again, something like the Dr. Dennis Gross. Or one of my favorite serums would be Build Skincare Ager. These are just some of the changes that I've been making. Not a hugely dramatic shift. I just wanted to convey that I think skincare routines often change for people. So even what I was doing just a couple months ago has evolved. That's all the updates I have, so now let me get straight into my actual routine discussing more of the indulgent products that I like to integrate. I will throw out some clips as I talk through as well, just so you can see visuals of some of the textures and so on. And when I'm feeling indulgent, I do often start with some sort of mask. In this routine video, I just use the Dior Eye Patches to refresh my eye contour a little bit. I don't use eye patches too often, but sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit tired on the day or whatever it is, I just like to have a handful lying around. If it's not eye patches, then I might use one of the hydrogel masks or just a general mask. After this little bit of masking, then I'll go into a double cleanse. And this is probably a little bit of like a rule breaking thing, but if I'm using eye masks like that, I actually don't bother cleansing my skin. I just put them straight on top of whatever I had on for the day, even if it's sunscreen, because I figure by that point everything has kind of worn off, so big deal. But that's probably a bit gross, I'm not sure. But just because it's my eye contour, I'm like, big deal. After that, I do move on to double cleansing, and as I've said in previous videos, I do generally prefer to double cleanse. Although sometimes I'll use a cream cleanser with a gel, sometimes a cream with a micellar, so the actual format of the double cleansing varies. In this particular example, I've been really enjoying the Rationale PreCleanse Balm, which is quite a traditional cleansing balm, but they've done a really good job of balancing the waxy and oily elements, so it feels really quite nourishing without feeling too waxy. And I really like that it has a delightful fruity scent, because a lot of cleansing balms are fragrance-free, and I guess I'm a bit over that now. I'll then follow up with the Rationale No. 5 Cleanser, which is a gentle clarifying, kind of gel textured cleanser. This feels quite hydrating, but still sneaks in some acids. So even though this routine is not technically based around exfoliation, I think having some acids in a cleanser can be a good thing if you've got active skin. I'm not technically trying to exfoliate, but just that little bit of help with congestion is always useful. The way that I describe my skin is that it's very glitchy, so it always benefits from some sort of exfoliation. And I'm not sure really that it's the exfoliating that I'm noticing benefit from. It's just more so a lot of these products have a good balancing action on the skin, and that's really the thing that I'm after. Next up in this indulgent routine is a toner step, and as I've alluded to before, I really enjoy using toners, especially if they include alcohol. I find that to be a truly balancing and clarifying ingredient to see, and it just helps a lot with absorption. I am sad that a lot of toners don't contain alcohol anymore. It was it's been really frustrating to see that vilified, because some of the nicest textures we ever have in skincare also contain alcohol in the formula. So I just hope brands get over this and the public stops complaining about things they don't really understand fully. And this is why I'm frustrated with brands like Paula's Choice and so on, because they make all these wild generalized claims about these ingredients being drying, but you absolutely cannot take things in isolation. So it's like, maybe if you're using it at 90%, 100%, or whatever it is, maybe then you'll notice a drying effect. But when it's designed well in a proper formula, alcohol just makes things so much better, and in fact I would argue more hydrating than without. So with that run over, in the particular product that I've been loving lately is the Chanel Le Lift Lotion. This is actually a gel in water, so it's not exceptionally runny, but it hits the skin surface really quick and absorbs super fast, so the dry down is immaculate for like a prep step. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy alcohol, is because it just lets things like absorb within seconds. Chanel have been on a little bit of a reformulating kick lately, so a lot of their products are being transitioned into new lines or new ranges. I'm a bit worried they're going to get rid of the Le Lift Lotion, which is one of their last remaining alcohol-containing products, but I hope this stays on range because I really, really loved using it. After toner, I'll jump into an essence, and the theme that you'll see coming across in a lot of my videos is that I tend to double cleanse a lot, double or triple cleanse, and also double essence or like toner essence, because to me the kind of prep step side of things is probably the most significant side of doing skincare. If your skin base is really clean and balanced and hydrated, then it just sets you up for a win everywhere else. Of course, you don't need to use the millions of products that I integrate, but part of my routine is just exploring textures, different sensorial elements, fragrances and so on. So I don't want my routine to ever get to the point of just being about utility. It's about enjoyment, exploration, just appreciating product design. The indulgent toner I've been using most recently is the newer Chanel Sublimage lotion. This has become another huge favorite and is another product from Chanel that uses microfluidics, which are like these little droplets suspended in the formula. Chanel considers this to be a true pre-serum, and it's definitely much more nourishing than most of their prep step products. And essentially this is designed for overall skin rejuvenation and barrier comfort. Next up is the serum step, and because this is kind of like a rest day, I'm not really looking for anything too active. In this type of environment where I'm leaning towards more indulgent products, I'm actually trying to seek out more novel ingredient extracts, more novel technologies, because I'm already using acids and tretinoin as the core of my routine. So I do like to play around with some ingredients that maybe don't have as much clinical standing, but there's the kind of possibility that they're doing things on top of the other ingredients. So currently I'm still really enjoying the Sublimage. It's like the previous serum. Forgive my pronunciation, it's like L'Essence Fondamentale maybe? Fundamental, I don't know. And this has just the most stunning enveloping texture. Absolutely one of my favorite serums from like a texture point of view I've ever used. Again, this contains alcohol, which sadly they've removed in the new version. They have discontinued this particular L'Essence and it's been replaced by like a general Sublimage serum. I have bought the new one, but I haven't opened it yet because I'm just going to finish this off as it was quite expensive. The purpose of Sublimage, from my understanding, is like overall like skin rejuvenation and redensifying, but Chanel have apparently also isolated some ingredient or plant extracts that are supposed to help the skin like combat signs of senescence. As I sort of mentioned a moment ago, I don't know how likely it is for plant extracts to actually have that type of cellular interaction in human skin, but even really if it's just acting as an antioxidant or something like that, I'm totally fine. Next up is the eye cream step, and I rotate between a few Indulgent eye creams. It just depends if my eyes are feeling dry or if they're feeling okay. Sometimes I run Retinoid a little bit too close to my eye, which causes some local irritation there. So then I back off using any active eye creams and just really try and reinforce moisturization. If my eye area is feeling normal, then I'll actually still use a retinoid eye product around there. I really enjoy the go-to Rationale eye serum and also the Medicaid crystal eye. But on the days I have irritated the area, the Augustinus eye cream is amazing. It's so rich. You literally just need a dot of product and it glides for days. I tend to pile it on and it's like, it feels like a mask basically. The last two steps are moisturizing steps, and these get switched around depending on which product format I'm using. In this particular example, on the night I filmed, I was using the Sublimage oil gel serum. This is like a total cocoon of moisture, but it's super pricey, so I don't use this nightly. It's just an every now and then thing when I feel like my skin needs some extra TLC. If I'm not using the Chanel oil balm, I might throw in another face oil. I have been enjoying the go-to, for example, the Vintner's Daughter, but often I'm just using Build Skincare Bee Balm. Because this is an indulgent routine though, Bee Balm is quite affordable, so it wouldn't technically sit in this particular routine, but it is one of my favorite products. I usually let this sit for a minute or two, so I might brush my teeth just for it to sort of settle down. And then I'll finish off my indulgent evening routine with a sleeping mask. This type of effect from a sleeping mask, at least in my view, is a little bit different to a typical moisturizer. They tend to sit on the skin surface a little bit more, and they almost create like a second skin effect. So it really reinforces that recovery that I'm looking for. I've been enjoying the Hydra Beauty Camellia Repair Mask, which has quite a waxy texture, and I really love the Lift Pro Mask. This is just a gel texture, but it's quite clingy to the skin without being sticky, so I don't find that it feels weird or icky. But as I said, both of these products have more a skin surface feel, so they don't necessarily like absorb in an instant. They just kind of settle in slowly. Now on the nights that I choose not to use the sleeping mask and I'm just using a regular moisturizer, then I'll typically apply the moisturizer first and then like the Sublimage oil gel or bee balm on top. Really, the goal here is whatever has the most cocooning effect or the most noticeable surface skin feel is what goes last. And so that's the end of this nourishing routine, which is essentially very heavily based on intense hydration and nourishment, which as you can see is also very Chanel heavy. They're my favorite luxury brand, so I just naturally am very curious to explore more of the brand. And I think they just do texture so well and there's so much variety. You can of course replicate this whole routine with much more affordable product. The main principle that I'm trying to pass on is that it's building levels of moisture, and if you have congestion prone skin, you can still start off with more of a balanced base and then build moisture on top of that later. And then the goal is to finish off this type of routine with kind of like a seal, so something heavier than normal. That's the end of this video and this whole series really. Please do let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.